Awaken to play. Hopefully things are going well for you guys. As for me, welcome to the Gamer Man's Lounge, and today we got video game classics. So we go to games of the past, take a look at games of the past, and we go through... Okay, we'll go through an individual game released in the past, and then we say, okay, is it good? Is it recommendable? You know, you get the idea. So here's what's going on. From childhood, I wanted to get my hands on it and go further into it. I don't remember buying it, but I do remember renting it multiple times. I will go ahead and say that. Now, Curse of Darkness, I wanted to get that, but it took till, if I remember right, 2015, or I think 2015 or 2016 to get Curse of Darkness. It is what it is, but we're not reviewing Curse of Darkness. I'm reviewing Castlevania, Lament of Innocence. Do you want to know how the story of Castlevania began? Welcome to the second attempt at bringing Castlevania to 3D. It was quite a while since the Nintendo 64 days, with the PlayStation 2 available and providing more buttons on the controller. Okay, plus there was that formula since Symphony of the Night that took it to the moon when it came to the Metroidvania, okay? And the Castlevania series too. And what do you know? We have ourselves a 3D Castlevania that is more thought through well, unlike the N64 Castlevania. And here you go, Castlevania Lament of Innocence, released exclusively on the PlayStation 2. Lament of Innocence takes place before Castlevania's story began. It's a prequel. Yeah, it's a prequel. Players find themselves playing as Leon Belmont. Leon now must travel a castle to hunt down a vampire who also has his fiancée hostage. So, yes, he has to go into the castle, save his fiancée from that vampire. However, he enters into the forest, meets Ronaldo, and Ronaldo walks him into a shop, gives him the alchemy whip, and then enchants his gauntlet. As the first Belmont enters the castle, he must fight through the Guardians, traverse many obstacles, and also pull up out of somewhere and beat somebody's ass. This story is rather simple and straightforward. Or is it? There seems to be some odd details that would occasionally show up. This would lead into something that you should know. Okay, it is essentially a big origin story. You will learn about the whip, you will learn about who is Dracula, you will explore the beginning of the Belmont clan. The gameplay is really improved compared to the Nintendo 64 days. As a matter of fact, the game takes on a more fitting structure. It is a Metroidvania, and it is such as the case since Symphony of the Night, so it's gotta continue on that Metroidvania formula, okay? Now, playing as a Belmont means you will be wielding whips. By the way, yes, there's more than one whip you can equip, okay? You have a light attack and a strong attack, and you can make mixtures leading into combos. Also, remember your defenses. Defenses especially play a key towards recharging mana points. Okay, as you gain mana points by blocking attacks that glow purple before execution. There is also sidestepping and evasive maneuvers to master. It's not just the attack buttons to master, but also defense techniques and blocking. Tradition of Castlevania. The sub-weapons such as crosses, axes, knives, holy water, and crystals. They use up hearts that you collect from destructible objects. Oh, by the way, if you throw hands with the area boss fight and you win, you get an orb, okay? And you need those orbs to pretty much activate late game, okay? Now, that orb can be activated for amplified versions of sub-weapon attacks depending on the orb equipped. So have fun with your experiments, okay? Now, EXP and leveling is entirely ditched. It is a matter of collecting stat increase items scattered throughout the castle. You also have the help of Ronaldo, who runs a shop near the castle. He sells potions, cures for poison and other ailments or something, and other items. Oh, he has a relic in his shop, so something to keep in mind about.
Oh, by the way, this also reminds me, don't forget to collect gold dropped by destructible objects and enemies from left and right. Also, there's gold scattered throughout the map, so, yeah. As you explore the castle, the camera angles are fixed, by the way. This also means the game will use the fixed cameras to especially try and hide stuff from you until you manage to find something. Okay, now that we're in the conversation of hidden stuff that might be of use to you, there are relics that will give you special abilities at the cost of mana points, by the way. Oh yeah, that's right, you keep blocking those enemy attacks that start glowing purple, okay? If you see purple, get ready to block. Okay, here we go. Alright. Keep an eye out for keys, treasures, locked behind contraption-based locked doors. For example, there was one area where I tried to find the area forward, and I thought these kinds of doors, where I activate the 3 nodes, were my way forward, only to find out that I found an element-resistant ring and a key back to the area I just cleared. Exploration is a very vital idea. It is essentially a big deal, okay? Search everywhere, fight everyone, and smash some things, okay? That is how things work as you travel the castle, okay? Hey, you do that, okay? You will be gaining more gold, unlocking combat skills, and gaining permanent stat boosts, okay? Oh yeah, and remember to jump up just in case there seems to be something that the camera hides from you. Some ledges will require the use of some enemies unless you find something later, okay? You will also wind up revisiting areas and backtracking quite a lot. This castle is really big and very expansive, okay? I should warn you up ahead. This is expected when it comes to exploring Castlevania. This is something when it comes to the Metroidvania formula of Castlevania, okay? That's something you should be expecting, okay? It is very big, it is very expansive as hell, to say the least. Now, there are hidden boss fights that you might want to go ahead and check out. For example, there are the hidden elemental bosses that reward you elemental whips if victory is achieved. There are also hidden pathways, so keep an eye out and look for anything off. The difficulty is good, and you will get quite a greater challenge, especially at times. Once again, master your offensive and defensive skills and maneuvers, and you will be good. Okay, now for the cameras, the fixed cameras, some will say, I wish I can control the camera. This right analog stick is so perfect, but I'm gonna say this. First off, the fixed camera angles, okay? You're gonna have to be dealing with that, okay? Also, this is also to make room for the right stick menu, by the way. Yeah, that right analog stick, yeah, activates the menu. Okay, so this right stick menu is something you summon in real time and has the player cutting back on relying on a pause menu, so you don't have to be hitting the pause button a whole lot. That's really convenient, okay? So you do have the left shoulder buttons, which is like a wheel for like selecting relics and orbs, okay? And then you have the right shoulder buttons, which are both block buttons, okay? To block enemy attacks. Yeah, I know, it's crazy. Now that I made room for that right stick menu to talk about, equipping whips, accessories, and armor is done through that right stick menu. Using items is done through that right stick menu. Otherwise, you will be told to equip and use in the right stick menu. You can reorder the arrangement of items and equipment through the pause menu, okay, but you're going to have to use that right stick menu. When using the right stick, it will be in real time, no pause, so be careful so you don't leave yourself open. Presentation for Lament of Innocence is off the charts. Level design is stellar, and the character designs are great as well. In terms of the game's performance, it is great, even though not perfect. You will be getting a domination of 60 frames per second performance. There's going to be a few areas where you're going to see the frame rate dip a bit, okay? The cutscenes are basically pre-rendered FMV sequences rather than in-game or in-engine. I call that shenanigans at best. The voice acting is good, but noticeably less cheesy and more serious. The dialogues are fitting with the themes, if you want my honest opinion here. As for the decrease of the cheesy, if you miss the charm of Symphony of the Night's cheesy stuff when it comes to the voice acting, it can be a bit of an issue for some people. I will go ahead and say the music. The music of this game is orchestrated very greatly, catchy and fitting as ever tracks. Bless your ears, okay? The sound presentation is really great, especially when you hear the sounds of the whip in action. Konami definitely gave all their heart and soul into Lament of Innocence. I will go ahead and say that. I will go ahead and say that this game is definitely recommended. It is a 3D Castlevania game that does a whole lot that would be best for Castlevania 3D games in general. Unlike Castlevania 64, people learned lessons from the Nintendo 64 days, by the way, and when Symphony of the Night kicked off, now, keep in mind that Lament of Innocence is a prequel to the Castlevania series, and I will go ahead and say that Castlevania is a really defining prequel to the series. That said, I would recommend this game, and I like the Metroidvania idea. It is really fitting for a 3D Castlevania game. Shout out to Symphony of the Night for basically helping shape the gameplay of the 3D Castlevania game when it came to Lament of Innocence. Good times guaranteed. I recommend you get this game.
Castlevania Lament of Innocence does have its share of platforming, and of course the controls can take some getting used to. I would have some complaints against the controls, but to be honest with you here, that's all just user error at the end of the day. It takes a lot of getting used to for some people. It takes a little bit of getting used to for some people, but hey. You'll have a blast, trust me. Also, if you beat the game, you have an extra character to play as, and there's an extra mode to touch on. So, yeah. Here you go. Anyway, oh, and keep a good look at the castle, because I missed out on a few items from what I'm finding out, so something to keep in mind about. Again, exploration is key. These fixed camera angles are going to play tricks on you, okay? So you might be missing some bonus stuff. Alright, anyway, with that said, that's all. I will be looking forward to you in the next video. Peace out.